Hello there! Thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and boy, this has to be one of the most humbling concert posters of Bruce Springsteen's entire career, including all the years before he got famous with the E Street Band. My goodness, here he is, third billed, misspelled, and listed under an act that had never charted anything, at least at the time, at this point. But you know something? Neither had Bruce. This was between his first and second albums, and a couple of years before he exploded on the scene with his Time magazine and Newsweek magazine cover stories. Spring of 1973. Wow. Just 3 months after the release of Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey, and 1 month before he'd go in the recording studio and start work on his classic second album, The Wild, the Innocent, and the E Street Shuffle. But you know something? Right up front, I'll tell you, Bruce actually did not appear at this show. He had a small tour scheduled for the South as an opening act, and a number of dates were canceled, this one among them. But you know something? Neither did Brian Wilson either, the leader of the Beach Boys and the genius behind them. He's pictured right there, as you can see. Actually, it's kind of an interesting treatment of a photograph there, but there's Brian, second from the left in the back row. And he didn't appear at the show either at this point. So, you know, without Bruce and Brian, the two super legends, yeah, I guess it takes some of the depth away from this poster, but with collectors, it's sort of an interesting divided camp. A lot of people just see, you know, original concert posters as tangible collector's items, and they were printed up as advertising pieces in very limited quantities, and what happened on stage, or didn't even happen at all, has no bearing on it. And other collectors really like a concert poster that represents an actual show that actually happened, and if the concert was special for some reason, that's even better to them. But as I said, it really is a divided camp, and this was certainly, it advertises Brian Wilson and Bruce Springsteen, whether or not, of course, they actually appeared on the stage. But you do have, what did appear on the stage was the core four of the Beach Boys, the founders, other than Brian Wilson, speaking of course about Carl Wilson, Dennis Wilson, and Al Jardine, and vocalist Mike Love. And if Sail On Sailor is one of your favorite Beach Boys songs, like it is for me, well then you've got Blondie Chaplin, second from the right, who took the lead vocal on that one. But I am digressing quite a bit to hear about digressing about the Beach Boys. This is a Springsteen concert poster video blog. And so let's take a look at what this says from top to bottom. Naturally, as you can see in very big print, it does say, "In Concert, the Beach Boys." And then taking the little bit smaller print here, down in the lower part of the poster, as you can see it does say, Wednesday, April 11th, 8 p.m. at the Omni, a very well-known concert venue in Atlanta, Georgia. And then we get to the crux of the matter. It says, also appearing, Mother's Finest, RCA Victor recording artists. Well, did they fit with the Beach Boys and the Boss? I don't know, but here was Mother's Finest in 1973. A six-piece funk rock band that actually hailed from Atlanta, Georgia, so it was very convenient for them to slip onto the bill. Interestingly, Mother's Finest would change labels and eventually start charting. Like in 3 years, they had 4 albums in Billboard, but none of them did any great shakes whatsoever, and no hit singles. And then below Mother's Finest, there you have it, Bruce Springsteen, Columbia recording artist. Now, you know, it's kind of funny, the nature of Bruce's name by itself sort of lends itself to, you know, misunderstandings and misspellings. I mean, I've seen Springsteen from his early days, S-T-E-I-N. And heck, when I first saw him at the Roxy in 1978 in Los Angeles, the next morning I staggered out of my bedroom and my mom said, "So how was Silver Spoon last night?" That's pretty far off, you know. I don't think that's ever appeared in print, but it just goes to show you people had a little trouble getting a grip on his name. It was a very unusual name, but you know, that's what a booking agent is for. Your management and your booking agent, not just to get the gigs, but make sure your name appears correctly in all the printed materials, advertising materials, the concert tickets, and so forth, the program. That's, you know, part of the booking agent's gig. Matter of fact, in the 1980s, there was a rocker on Capitol Records named Billy Squier, who spelled his last name very unusually. He actually had a contract writer that would specify if his name was misspelled on the marquee, it was a financial hit to the promoter and more money in Squier's pocket. Can't say that absolutely positive, but that's what I certainly recall. I was working in the music business in the 1980s, and I very much recall that. Unlikely that Springsteen had that situation himself, because you don't see many misspellings, just a couple from the very earliest days. But anyway, getting in further here, you've got presented by a fraternity. Interestingly enough, it says presented by Phi Kappa Alpha. That's a fraternity at Georgia Tech, right there in Atlanta. And then on the poster, the print quality really starts to break up, as you can see, a little unfortunate there. It does say, it says to benefit muscular dystrophy associations of America, plural on that. And then you've got down in the lower left there the Omni logo for the venue. And then the price is an even $6, $5, and $4. And then the print becomes really indistinguishable. And you got to take my word for it that it says available at all Ticketron outlets and the Omni box office. So, if it's indistinguishable, how do I know that? Well, pretty simple. If you're a collector of these kind of things, you probably have seen the handbill version of this poster. It's smaller, it's obviously smaller. It's 5 by 8 inches on paper, and it's fully printed so you can read it. Interestingly, a couple of the lines were sort of moved closer together and rearranged for the handbill, whereas here on the poster there was more room, so they breathe a little bit easier down at the bottom. But the two have the exact same wording, absolutely. And then in the lower right you have what we sort of see as a little bit of a sin if you're a ticket collector or whatnot, but it is the Ticketron logo. Now interestingly, this weak print down at the bottom is not a result of damage like tape lifts or water damage or something. This was part of the printing process. It's clear that the ink just got light down at the bottom of the poster. So you know what that means. That means that other samples of this poster, I haven't seen another one myself. In fact, all the samples from the poster, because they're only run like 50 or 100, maybe 200 at a time, probably a couple hundred, once the presses were going. But theoretically, all of the posters should have similar characteristics. And speaking of the poster itself, it was printed on card stock. I have it on this board just for easy handling, and it measures about 15 by 23 inches in size. Bruce Springsteen, Stin, whatever you call him, he was headed toward changing rock and roll forever, and we're all the more lucky because of it. So great to see him before he was famous on here, and just a really fun poster, right? This is pure fun, just love it. Brian Wilson, Bruce Springsteen, wow, what a heavy poster, even if they didn't appear. Thanks a lot for dropping by. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.